Hello everyone, welcome back for some more Let's Play Radical Dreamers, sponsored by Square Enix. So, we learned about the sword that can do everything. However, here's the thing, I don't know where that sword is. So I did rack my brain, I'm like, where haven't we done anything? Because I feel like we've gone everywhere. And my thought is actually, wouldn't it be like the only place where we went and there was nothing, just the old woman, was the clock tower. So let's head to the clock tower, right? So we want to go to the stairs leading up. That was one of the first rooms we went to. Passageway to the stairway was short. With Kid leading the way, we started climbing the narrow staircase. At the top, we found another intersection. Okay, so we want to go towards the terrace, right? Toward the terrace. After a short walk down the corridor, the terrace came into view. We've still not went out onto the terrace, but we won't do that. Let's keep following the corridor. Whoa! That actually was a jump scare. That actually scared me. A scream pierced the darkness, turning my blood to ice. I realized then a pair of crazed, blood-red eyes was staring into the depths of my soul. Oh, it was a griffin. In a panic, I tried to slip the knife from my belt. Before I could draw my weapon, the griffin had spread its powerful wings and swooped toward me with an almighty screech. I was knocked back and sent rolling across the ground. I gasped with pain as the wind was knocked out of me. Serge, you okay? Every nerve in my body was screaming with pain. I held back the grunts and staggered my feet. I looked to see the massive griffin in front of me. Its hellish red eyes stared down its beak. It's going to attack. What do I do? I'm going to jump back. Almost by reflex, I jumped back, but the griffin's talons were soon followed by its head. Sharp pain ripped through my waist. Clutching my wounded stomach, I did my best to regain my footing and turned again to face the griffin. As the beast's mad red eyes glared at me, I desperately tightened the grip on my knife. Alright, let's go in. I reversed the grip on my knife and plunged into the griffin's neck with all my might. Rock! The griffin's body contorted with agony. Driven mad with rage, the griffin shook its head this way and that. I quickly pulled my knife from its neck and rolled to put some space between us. I quickly got back to my feet and readied myself to attack again. As the beast's mad red eyes glared at me, I desperately... Oh, well that worked. Okay, do that again. So, it managed to turn its head aside, knocking my hand back at the last moment. The impact sent me rolling. I tried desperately to keep tight grip on my knife so I wouldn't lose it. I quickly got back to my feet and did it again. Let's attack. Plunged it in with all my might. Rock! It contorted with agony. Well, this is good. Quickly pulled my knife and rolled to get some space. Ready myself to attack. Big red eyes. Attack! Okay, plunged it in. Rock! It contorted with agony. And then it stiffened, becoming completely rigid. Its eyes just rolled back into its head and fell to the ground with an almighty crash. We'd done it! We'd actually defeated a griffin! Whew, I fell to my knees, overwhelmed by what I've just been through, but glad it was all over. How we doing? I'm starting to feel a little worse for wear. I was gonna have to be a little more careful from now on. I mean, that was unavoidable damage. Not bad, Serge, not bad at all. Didn't know you had it in ya. There was a mischievous glint in Kid's eyes. She rewarded me with a few rare words of praise. Alright, we keep going. We found an ancient-looking door again on our right. This was the clock tower, right? Yeah. So let's open the door, because we haven't seen much in here. In we go. Kid stilled her breath and reached for the handle. The door wasn't locked. It swung slowly open. Who was the old woman, I wonder? The room was completely silent, and there was no sign of life. There it is, our ticket to not getting turned into mincemeat. Oh, right, there was a sword in here. The ancient sword was right where Kid had left it after pulling it from the pile of junk. She ran over to where it lay. Looking down at the sword, Magil muttered, "Two ancient blades, the sacred Einlancer and the cursed Masamune." What are you on about, Madge? You know something about this Masamune? Magil said nothing. Well, it seems to mean something to you. It does. Uh-huh. Something to do with old friends I don't know about? Not exactly. An enemy then? Not exactly. You're being weird, Madge. Whatever. Oi, numbnuts! Grab this thing from me, will ya? I was still standing by the doorway when Kid called over to me. Who, me? Yeah, you? Are you gonna make me lug the bloody thing around all over the place? I'm just a scrawny little girl, ain't I? Call yourself a gentleman. Scrawny little... My jaw dropped. Both of these sound terrible. In whose dark dreams was Kid only a scrawny little girl, I wondered. Suddenly my thoughts were interrupted by a spinning kick to the chops. My body flipped over in the air as sparks flew behind my eyes. What What the hell was that for? Kid only humped and looked away. Magil also turned away. I was thoroughly left out in the cold. Pick up the damn sword, Surge. I ain't got all night. Ye gods, she was a nightmare. Sometimes I wonder why I even bother coming along with these little jaunts. Dazed, I stumbled to my feet and sheepishly picked up the sword. But what were we supposed to do with this tarnished old relic? Whoa, I nearly fell over. That thing was heavy. Good boy. Right, off to the chamber of death. Eyes on the prize, lads. Draining the sword behind me with one hand and clutching my throbbing head with the other. I really hope that doesn't actually cause damage. I followed Kid out of the room toward a place where it sounded like certain doom awaited. So that was up the stairs, right? Depths of the manor. Okay, so we want to go... So rightward lay the depths of the manor. We go down the corridor, yeah. We came across a sturdy door on our left. Nope, that was... Stood a stairway. Yeah, we go up the stairway. We continue on. Corridor ended at the foot of some stairs. With Kid in the lead, we headed upwards. It was dark and the stairway was narrow. We watched our footing as we climbed. An old, sturdy-looking door loomed in the darkness at the top. So we went inside. Yep. Well, this place is just as creepy as I remember. Lovely, grumbled Kid. She was looking at the stains on the wall. The ceiling had been pulled back up. There was no reason to believe it might not come grinding down it again at any moment. Bearing in mind what Riddell had told us this room was called, it definitely wasn't somewhere we wanted to linger. Quickly, hissed Magil before crouching down and examining the ground for clues. Kid and I crouched too. What are we looking for, though? What could the old man have left in this room that would help us bring him back to reality? The flagstones of the ground were smeared with a black gooey substance which gave off an odd rotten aroma. I shook my head, trying to drive an uncomfortable thought from my mind. Kid saw me and clearly wasn't doing much better herself. She slowly turned, positioning herself so that she was facing away from the stains on the wall. There's no point in thinking with that. I just had to try. But then... the door slammed shut and the gears ground into life. Here we bloody go again! We have to stop it. If we don't deal with the trap, we'll never find out what we're looking for. Or find, rather. Okay. Mode 7! Ceiling sank lower and lower. We ducked our heads, desperately trying to avoid the blades jutting from the bottom. Kid looked to me and screamed, "That sword! Use the Einlanzer!" What? How do you use a sword? What? No! I plunged the sword into the ceiling? Alright, let's see if this legendary sword can smash through the ceiling. I jabbed the Einlanzer upward with all my might. Ka-clang! It plinged hard off the countless blades flashing down from above, throwing me to the floor. Ow! My hands numb. Alright! Into the ground, we have time. There, I drove the sword into the floor with all my might. A shock ran through the room. Beams of light scattered from the blade, covering the floor and walls and racing upwards. The ceiling gave an almighty judder and then stopped. We made it. I sank to the floor helplessly, my heart racing. Hey, what's that? It was pointing at a part of the wall. It was where we'd seen the message written in blood. Guess we found what we're looking for. Part of the wall had collapsed, revealing a cavity behind what looked to be a piece of solid stone. Inside, I could see something glinting faintly in the darkness. Kid reached in with her fingertips, carefully extracting whatever it was from within. It was a slender ring with a delicately engraved design that looked like overlapping ferns. The ring was adorned with several small rupees and a pattern that resembled a bunch of grapes. The crest of Acacia. This must be an Acacian signet. Kid put the ring on her middle finger where it sat uneasily. It didn't seem to be her size. The rubies gave off an eerie glint. Right, let's not spend any more time in here than we have to. We managed to foil the trap and retrieve the Acacian signet. I left the Einlanzer where it stood and we exited the room. You're just gonna leave the holy sword? That's a bad idea. Okay, I mean, to be fair, it's too heavy for any of us to wield. Oh, curse you, weight requirements. With Kid in the lead, we headed downstairs. So, we need to go... No, we don't need to go here. Right, continue on. Coming across the door to our left, we look back at the terrace. We continued on. We need to go rattle. Oh, it's the Boneman. Kid stopped us. There's something there. Listen carefully. Rattle, rattle, rattle. A figure appeared in the darkness on the other side of the corridor. It was a skeleton! We ready ourselves for a fight. What was I going to do? I'm going to attack right away. Come on, then. I looked at the skeleton. It lashed with its sword. Blood dripped from my face. The tip of the blade had scratched my cheek. I jumped back in panic. Hope you brought your brown trousers, grumbled Kid, who squared off against the skeleton. It threw the sword it was carrying to the ground and took a step forward. And then, oh right, it does the weird pose. Proceeded to contort itself, highly suggestive. For a moment, no one knew how to respond. Look at Madge. Magil is bewitched by this weird one. So I'm going to attack it because it's all contorted. That's what we did last time. Almighty crack as the bone snapped. Kid and I did a cross cut. We had defeated the skeleton. Kid turned her attention back to Magil. Can't believe this Drongo. Why? Why does he get so bewitched by it? It's so strange. Starting to feel a little worse for wear. Okay. All right. I'm not going to reread the stuff that we kept reading. So we keep following the corridor. And then we go to... It was like in the basement, right? So we go down the stairs, then we go down again, right? So we go down the stairs. Sending deeper into darkness. Split into two. So we want to go through the atrium. Yeah, we got the water. And it led deeper. We pressed on. All right, so went through the atrium and continued down the corridor, finds itself with a fork in the road toward the dungeon. That's where we're going. We continue down the corridor, eventually reaching an old, rather sturdy-looking door. This place again? I'd hoped this was the last time I'd have to come here. We went inside. Having retrieved the Acacian signet, we returned to the old man's cell. As soon as we got there, Magil took a step forward and grabbed onto the bars. They creaked and groaned as he heaved at them, gritting his teeth as he summoned every ounce of his strength, of his might. Slowly, they bowed apart. Wow! He stepped into the cell through the gap, and Kid and I followed. The old man was exactly as we had left him, staring into space and muttering meaningless words. Kid walked over to him and crouched down. She grabbed him by the collar and yelled at him, "Wakey, wakey, Grandad! We got a few questions for you. You get an eyeful of this. Ring any bells, hmm?" Kid waved the Acacian signet in his face, shaking him roughly all the while. The old man's head lolled as he limply allowed himself to be manhandled. Yeah, Magil, can you make her stop? I looked at Magil in horror. Is this how we're going to break through his shell? Fear not. This approach is as good as any. But do we even have the right to drag the poor man back into reality? Hasn't he suffered enough? I am prepared to do anything to achieve our goal. Magil stared right through me with that ice-cold gaze. Oh, an Acacian signet, the symbol of our vows, bestowed only upon sworn Acacian dragoons. A low voice, almost a moan, spun around in surprise. His eyes began to cloud once more. So, my former allies have finally come for me. I am to blame. It is because of my indiscretion that the frozen flame was stolen, and that all of the Acacian dragoons, only I remain here in the manor. But now all is well, for you have returned. O Melgid, Zoranda, where have you been all this time? Did you all return to Lake Stoic? Never mind all that, Granddad. Where's the frozen flame? Give us a clue, anything. Come on, out with it. I couldn't decide if Kid sounded more annoyed or more desperate. A frozen flame? The old man looked momentarily confused. And then a wan smile crossed his face. My word, Lady Riddell. It has been far too long since last I had the pleasure. Why? Oh, you need only turn the third candlestick from the left. Taking a screenshot of that. As you enter the main hall, that will open the underground vault, as you know. Kid wrapped her arms around the old man and held him tight. And then in a trembling voice she whispered, I'm sorry. I promise we'll get it back. Gah! The old man recoiled in horror and then began to sob once more. I'm to blame. It's all my fault. Forgive me, forgive me. Look, do you want to get out of here? Now's your chance. But it was no use. He was too busy cowering and wailing to hear me. Oh, that was Serge. We're down here, Serge. We can't help him. And there's things we need to be doing. Thank you, I whispered to the old man before following Kid and Magil out of the dungeon. So we need to get to the main hall. Kid stopped in her tracks, signaling to us with her hand behind her back. She drew her knife and stared into the darkness. We heard the clinking of metal from just up ahead. Goblin guards. It wasn't likely there'd be anyone else going for a nighttime stroll around the manor wearing armor. We have nowhere to retreat to, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to try a tactical retreat. A tactical retreat? How about a tactical boot up the arse instead? Look, you're never going to get good at thieving if you keep acting like you're such a bloody chicken. Having rejected my suggestion, kids seem to take pleasure in putting the boot in for good measure. I won't know what hit him, she shouted, leaping into battle. Caught on the back foot, I fumbled with my knife. Oh, hello, what you lot doing? There were 5 of them in total. They weren't ordinary goblins, though. Having been well looked after in the palatial manor, they'd grown bigger than Magil. Each one was carrying the Manor Guard's trademark Morning Star. Okay, so this is the same. Yeah. Okay, so we need to, yeah, we need to evade the attack, because, yeah, would have been, okay, so then after that, through the back of its weapon. Okay, so let's go through its chest. I seized the opportunity, try to thrust my knife into the goblin's chest. Only stabbed it squarely in the gut. I rushed to pull it up. Before I could, the creature had grabbed my arm in its fleshed, meaty fist. I looked up, see it glaring at me with a mad grin on its face. Its fangs dripped with saliva. Fight dirty! The goblin may have been a monster, but I guess it was still a man in a sense. I swung my foot up hard. A brutal kick in the family jewels. Oh no! The creature's grip didn't weaken and its grin didn't waver. Actually, I think my foot hurt more than anything else. Suddenly, I was flung to the side. My back crashed into the wall, the impact knocking the wind out of me. And then before I could react, a heavy kick smashed in my side. I was sent flying, slamming to the ground and rolling from the impact. I coughed, leaving a splatter of blood on the floor. And then with a roar, the goblin started running for me. No, I can't move! I panicked. Had it really hit me hard enough to paralyze me? Kid! I tried to scream her name, but all I could manage was a croak. I was busy watching my life flash before my eyes, when a nimble figure crashed down on top of the goblin's head out of nowhere. Shunk, ka-shunk! 2 quick stabs put out the beast's eyes, and there the figure landed, grabbed me, and rolled nimbly to one side. The blinded goblin kept running, right past us and away down the corridor. But it hadn't gone far before a fireball raced by me and engulfed it in a blazing flame. It was Kid who saved me. She glared at me with a harsh look in her eyes. Bonk, then she thumped me on the head. What I've told you about running away all the time, Serge? I've told you about making other people do your dirty work for you. That's why you get too bloody scared to do any of the fighting for yourself. You can't expect anyone to look after you except for yourself. If you run away, you're as good as leaving yourself dead. Got that? I nodded feebly. Well, that didn't go great. Wait a second, what's that? There's a leather bag on the ground, containing some recently cooked meat. Lucky me! Oh, shoot, we gotta heal. I bit in the meat without a moment's hesitation. After devouring the unexpected windfall, I felt a little better. Oi, where's my share? Busted! I pretended not to hear. I love this Surge so much. This Surge has so much character. I'm starting to feel a little worse for wear. I was gonna have to be more careful. Okay, so we're not doing too bad. Okay. Okay, so we need to go to the atrium would take us to stairs going down. No, we need to go... Oh, frick. You know, I do actually have a map of the manor. I did have to look at it. That's what I did, is I looked at a map of the manor, and then that told me where to go, right? Where I was like, okay, not where to go, but I was like, okay, I want to get to where... Okay, so we're in the... Okay, so we're in the dungeon. We go... Okay, so go through the atrium, up the stairs, and to the right. Okay. So, toward the atrium. Alright, because I was just like, man, I needed to remember where all the stores were. Okay, so we will continue on. And now we're gonna go... Oh, again... Clinking of metal, goblin guards. Okay, so we get to do this one again. Okay, so we're going to get ready. Actually, you know what? Whoop. I'm going to... What's the button? Can I not... I can't save in one of these encounters, of course. Alright, Serge, Magil, let's go get him. Kid leapt forward, confident as ever. It's like, she thought nothing could go wrong. Alright, let's try this again. There were 5, but they weren't ordinary. Yes, so this is the same type. And this time we got to do it the right way. Hopefully they drop meat again. Okay, so we're going to jump back to evade again. Right? And let's go through the back of the weapon hand. Having missed me, the goblin lost his balance. I plunged my knife through the back of its weapon hand. The goblin's face contorted with pain as it dropped a morning star. I knew that going for its hand would be more effective than trying to land a good hit on its fleshy, porcine body. Let's go for the morning star. I threw the knife at the goblin's face by reflex. He immediately raised his buckler to catch the throw. I took it to grab the morning star and slip behind its back. All I do was bring the morning star in its head. It turned around right on cue. It was now or never. Swung the iron ball toward the face, but the weapon was a lot harder to handle than I thought. The goblin easily parried it with the back of his thick, fleshy hand. Oh, frick. The chain was aimed savage at me, pulling me off balance, and then kicked in the air. It was as if I was falling forever, like an autumn leaf floating gently from a tree. It wasn't the stone floor that broke my fall, but the embrace of a pair of muscular arms. Get back. Magil dropped me on the floor like a sack of potatoes and advanced on the goblin. It took the mace from its belt and charged him, and he lashed out with a kick, sending the mace flying. His foot came down again, this time on the goblin's hideous face. Yo, he hit him with the overhead. The creature's features crumpled inward, and its body flew to the floor with a sudden thud. It was all over in a second. You're bloody pathetic, that was Kid. It's no use nabbing a weapon you don't know how to handle, is it? Try using your head for once, will ya? Sometimes I really did despair. I was doing my best just to survive. Would it hurt to offer a, "You all right, mate," once in a while, if only to mix things up? I'm a grown man, you know. I have feelings. I said to myself as usual. Trying to tell her that for real would have been a swift route to an early grave and nothing else. Wait a second. Oh, meat? Yes! Oh, gem. Now we're talking? Kid's face lit up with joy. Nice find, Serge. What a beaut. Kid snatched away, leaving me to settle for the compliment. I was a mess. My body was screaming with pain, but like I might pass out at any moment. If I took much more punishment from Lynx's minions, my night was going to be over pretty soon. Not bad, Serge. Mischievous glint, she roared me a few rare words of praise. Okay. That's not going the best for us. So let's go to... We go up the stairs. Okay. Kid leading the way. We go up there, found another intersection. Okay, so let's go to the main hall. Okay, we passage emerged onto the main corridor. We found ourselves in front of some ornate double doors. This was the main hall of the manor. So we went inside. Kid pushed the heavy door open quietly as she could and peered inside. Looks like the coast is clear. We stepped into the main hall. Dozens of candles provided a dim, flickering light, setting the corners of the room dancing in and out of shadow. The great hall was filled with a heavy silence. A silence unbroken save for the ticking of a large clock that slowly counted the passage of time, as if waiting for something. Several portraits glared down with us with cold eyes. We moved forward. We moved through the feeble glow of the candles. Third candlestick from the left, whispered Kid. Good thing I didn't have to memorize it. 1, 2, 3. There. She reached out towards it. I held my breath as I watched. Say your prayers, Lynx. We're coming for you. Kid turned the candlestick. The room trembled with a sudden rhythmic rumbling sound as if a massive gear were turning. What's that? For a moment I felt a strange sensation as if I was floating. Do you feel that? I started to stagger. The entire room seems to be moving downward, came the reply from Magil. I couldn't quite believe it, but I also couldn't deny the feeling of downward motion. The main hall was sinking into the earth. And then another rumble. The room's descent rapidly accelerated. A cold sweat dripped from my back. My heart filled with a mixture of fear and anticipation. What was waiting for us down there? The frozen flame. A prize at the end of this little adventure. But what was it really? Would it live up to our expectations? I tightened my fists, which were slick with sweat. What were Kid and Magil thinking? The room remained veiled in silence. Oh. As if in response to my thoughts, a quiet voice came from next to me. It was Kid. I looked over to see her standing stiffly, staring forward with her hands clenched into fists. Sometimes I feel like I'm stuck in a losing battle. I fight I'll never win, no matter what I do. It was a side of her I'd never witnessed before. Even from this angle, I could see fear and doubt flickering across her face. I felt a tender sting in my heart. What are you fighting for? Or what are you fighting? What are you fighting against? Good question. Fate, maybe? Hey, no, I like that, though. Life, even? Not sure I can put me finger on it exactly. It ain't Lynx. I mean, sure, I'm here to fight him, but that's different. It ain't clear-cut like that. I feel like there's another me inside me. One that's just sitting there, looking out at how empty and pointless everything I do is. That's the best way I can describe it, anyhow. Listen to me, no to bloody nonsense, eh? She smiled ruefully. I didn't exactly know what she meant, but I felt like I knew broadly what she was getting at. She may have talked tough, but underneath it all, she felt fear and uncertainty, just like the rest of us. I mean, there was no great revelation in and of itself, but hearing her say it out loud gave me a strange sense of relief. I stole another sidelong glance at her. Her expression was different, more mature somehow. Sorry, mate. You didn't need to hear that. Not exactly me trademark brand of carefree banter, eh? She stuck out her tongue. Normal service had been resumed. Or so it seemed for a second. Thanks, Serge. And you, Match. She said, suddenly serious again. Couldn't have made it this far without you both. Listen, if we don't... After this, I mean, if we don't get another chance to... Huh? You know what, forget it. She closed her eyes and forced a smile. I wasn't sure how to respond. So true to form, I just stared at her some more. I could have sworn I caught a flicker of a grin cross Madril's face, too. He was standing just at the edge of my field of vision, arms crossed and eyes closed. But maybe it was just my imagination. A contemplative silence descended as the hall continued its journey down into the bowels of the manor. A crash split the silence, as if we'd collided with something. A loud, metallic scraping filled the air. The room rocked and finally came to a halt. Looks like the end of the line. All change. Oh, yeah, we got some music. The swelling grandeur of the organ suddenly filled the air. No one had so much as touched it, and yet the keys and the pedals were moving by themselves. The melody it played was both unsettling and sad. Funeral time, is it? Way to greet your guests. Kid took a long stride forward and turned to face me and Magil. Come on, let's go. Magil and I gently nodded our assent. Kid grinned and turned back to the door. I'm coming for you, Lynx. It's the end for you. And with that, she led us from the hall. That's gonna absolutely alert him that we're here. We continued down a long, dark corridor, the walls slick with condensation. I should hit a save probably, huh? What's the save button again? Is it start? Select? No. Oh, no, that's the auto button. We're really getting close to Lynx's hidden vault at last? Was there any turning back now for any of us? There was something strange about Kid that night. Magil didn't seem to be his usual self either. To begin with, it was vanishingly rare for him to speak so much, let alone show any kind of emotion. What happened to make them change like that? Unable to take silence anymore, I decided to speak. I had to ask the question that has been on my mind this whole time. Why do you want the frozen flame so badly? Hey kid, why do you want the frozen flame so badly? All I got in reply was the cold echo of her footfalls. I should have known. She didn't like to talk about her reasons for doing things. After all, it was a topic that was likely to lead to the discussion of her past. But then she spoke, though it was almost a whisper. I'm doing it for Sis. Before she died, she told me to find the frozen flame and bury it. Sis? Who's that? Bury it where? Our old mate's grave. Kid looked at her feet as she walked. She wasn't me real sister, okay. But she was as good as family to me. When she took me in, I was bloody helpless. Couldn't remember a thing. I was barely old enough to survive on my own. She didn't go into too much detail about who her mate was. Best I can remember is that... Oh. No, this is her still. Didn't go too much detail about who her mate was. Best I can remember is that I need to find the grave of a girl who married another mate of hers and died not long after. Oh boy, no wait, I know who that is. Oh shoot. Oh my god, I know exactly whose grave this is. And you probably do too. So yeah, I mean, in case you didn't put it together, Kid was the baby that Luca picked up from Chrono Trigger. And so Luca asked her to bury it at the grave of her old friend. That friend being The grave of a girl who married... So, at Marl's grave? Okay. She said that's where the frozen flame should be laid to rest or something like that. To be honest, I wasn't paying much attention at the time. It's not like I could have known what was about to happen when she disappeared. And I realized she wasn't coming back, though. I got a southern accent for some reason. That's not Australian. Oh boy, we're going more accents. Okay, Marjar Jar Jar. I swore I'd make good on what she asked me to do. I'd nab the frozen flame from that rat bastard Lynx and get my revenge. Kid's eyes almost seem to glow with heat in the cold night air. I'll make him pay for everything he's done, no matter what it takes, even if it kills me. And then she fell silent. Sorry, kid, I didn't mean to bring up something so painful. There was a pause before she replied. Nah, you're alright. I should have said something sooner before I roped you into this. Sorry. Silence reigned supreme as I fumbled around trying to find something to say in reply. But all that filled the darkness of the corridor was the sound of yet more footsteps. Suddenly, Magil stopped in his tracks. Wait! Huh? Kid turned around puzzled. Just then, a powerful light surged across the floor, and a ring-shaped sigil appeared. Oh, frick. Damn it! A blood circle! Kid and Magil were at least quick enough to try and jump clear, but they weren't quick enough. The three of us were trapped in a circle of blinding light. Whoa! Oh, these designs. Actually, Kid's not far off from what we know, but oh my god, Surge, what are you looking like? Also, Mode 7! And the clearest look we get at Magil. Okay. The sigil rotated left and right with us at its center, cutting off all routes of escape. We're trapped! A wall of heat and wind blew around us, swirling lines and spirals of light assailed us wherever we turned. Don't let the light mesmerize you. Cover your eyes, shouted Magil, raising a hand over his mask. Turn with the light, not against it. There has to be a way out. What? I barely even understand what's going on. Kid's elbow brushed against the wall of light surrounding us, sending sparks flying. Be careful. Merely to touch it is enough to harm you. Stay well back. I slowly turned my body to follow movements of the light, looking for a gap to escape through. Oh, frick. Right. Okay, so it was... No! I saved it on my other Switch! No! Oh, frick! Okay, I need to go get my... I'm playing on my recording Switch now. I was playing on my LED, my OLED last time. I need to go grab my OLED and bring it up, because I have it there. Or I could just Google it. I saved the screenshot. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it there, because I don't need to. Yeah, that's... Honestly... Okay. We go to... Okay. The Griffin told us, it says here, 3 steps right, 2 left, 2 right. Okay, so turn left. One more time. I need to double check. Okay, so 3 right. Turn right 3 times. 3 to the right. There, I see it. That's our way through. Found a gap in the wall, light, and walk through. Kid Magil, this way! Managed to get through the barrier unscathed. We're out of the woods. There was another wall of light swirling with a great wind in front of us. Turn my body to follow the movements of the ring of light, looking for a gap to escape through. Okay, so the next one is 2 left. Left twice. 2 steps to the left. There, I see it. That's our way through. I found a gap in the wall of light and carefully walked through it. Kid Magil, this way. Managed to get through the barrier unscathed. We're out of the woods. There's another wall of light swirling with a great wind in front of us. Okay, so this time it was... So this one is... I'm just doing it just in case there's a time limit thing. This one is 2 to the right. Right twice. 2 steps to the right. There, I see it. That's our way through. Found a gap in the wall of light, carefully walk through it. Kid Magil, this way. Oh, man. Whew. Whew. Suddenly, my body felt light, and I staggered 2 or 3 steps forward. We were back in the deserted passageway we'd been walking down before the blood circle had appeared. The sigil had vanished from the floor, and everything was silent, as if nothing had ever been amiss. And then I looked up. Looks like we finally made it, boys! Kid strolled up to the door with a wicked grin on her face. The true frozen flame awaits. Madril's eyes gave a glint from behind his mask like glass catching moonlight in the darkness of night. Let's go! Kid reached for the handle. So this is a place, huh? Kid narrowed her eyes, straining to see her surroundings in the darkness. Oh yeah, there it is. A vast pitch-black expanse surrounded us, whichever way we looked, as if we'd entered an impossibly vast cave again. Can I save? No? Okay. We were in a place forgotten by time, unknown to the world, hidden deep within the bowels of night. A gentle crimson light hovered in the darkness. The frozen flame! All right, now it's ours! The light of the flame ebbed and waned gently as if responding to Kid's voice. Oh, what the heck is this place? There's mountains of bloody rubble everywhere. Magil took a step further into the room and said in a whisper that was almost a groan, "No, it can't be." Oh! But it is. The ruins of the lost kingdom of mages. We know where that is. The voice drifted down from the darkness from above. Kid looked up in shock. There he is! Lynx. I'll lick your flea-bitten ass so hard. Oh, no, kick! Kick, not lick. Don't do that. I'll kick your flea-bitten ass so hard you'll kiss the moon. Kid pulled her knife from her belt and threw it as hard as she could. It fell to the floor with a clang, as if knocked out of the air by some unseen hand. Still the same impetuous child as ever, I see. That's no way to greet an old friend. Smarmy bastard! Kid grated her teeth with rage. And you, shadow dweller. I'll have none of your tricks this time. You must think me a fool if you believe I'll fall for that again. Magil, who'd been quietly slipping into the darkness that surrounded us, stopped dead in his tracks. So this was the infamous Lynx. Yeah, he's kind of cat-like. Oh, yeah, wow. Men dripped up a bit in Chrono Cross. The lord of this deadly manor, the man who had murdered the closest thing Kid had to a family, who had assassinated General Viper and eradicated the order of the Acacia Dragoons. A pleasure as always, my dear Kid. And I must say, you followed the trail of breadcrumbs that I laid for you admirably close, my greedy little sneak thief. What the bloody... She stepped forward, bristling. Lynx narrowed his eyes as his lips twisted into a snarl. You know what I want, Kid. Give me the stone you carry. A stone? Did Kid have some kind of jewel I didn't know about? I know what you're on about, mate. She was just about managed to recover her composure when narrowing her eyes scornfully at her old foe. Spare me the act, child. I know that you have it. I know she gave it to you. Hand over the time egg. Now. Oh, that's the important thing. The what? Whatever it was, I'd never heard of it. Time egg. Okay. You're dreaming if I think I'll give it to the likes of you. Kid shot back. It's all I have left of her. I'll never let go of it. Not for anyone, and definitely not for you. I'll tell you what's gonna happen, you bastard. First, I'm gonna take that frozen flame. I'm gonna ram it down your throat. Incorrigible young fool. I was hoping this might be a civilized exchange. Alas, my words will only fall on deaf ears, and you are determined to repeat your past errors. Lynx moved his hand to the grip of his ornate saber that hung from his belt. Last time, I showed you mercy and let you leave you with your life. That was a mistake, one which I mean to correct. Surge, Magil, stay back. Kid took a step forward, glaring at Lynx, her gaze unflinching. This ends here now. You'll pay for what you've done. You'll pay for what you did to Luca. Oh, it does explicitly say it's Luca. Okay. That's the moment where you kind of go, whoa, this is connected. I mean, if you didn't have the DS connection and I had the pre-existing knowledge. With a script. Ooh, listen to that. Yeah. Ooh, bop. Listen to those drums. Nice. That's Super Nintendo battle music, man. With a scream, Kid leapt in the air like a bird taking flight. Her foot lashed out in a scything kick aimed right at the side of Lynx's head, but there was no contact. Where Lynx had been mere moments before, now there was only empty space. Kid landed and immediately launched herself back in the air, putting the full force of her momentum into another kick. This time, Lynx leaned back, letting Kid's foot swing past only a hair's breadth from his nose. And then it was Lynx's turn. He lashed out with his saber, carving an arc through the air in front of him. Kid was ready for him, however, and already jumped back to safe distance. The two glared at each other from mere footsteps apart. At least you had the decency to prepare a little better than last time, Lynx purred. A red line appeared on Kid's cheek, slowly coalescing into the drop of blood. Kid! In a flash, she launched herself into yet another attack. Lynx dodged aside, that made a strike with the hilt of his saber. Kid moved awkwardly to avoid the attack, losing her footing, and then Lynx was like a bird of prey. On her like a bird of prey before she could fully recover. There was a gasp and a cough as Lynx drove his knee into the pit of her stomach. Kid collapsed. A steady stream of red dripped from her lips. Will that be all, girl? Lynx gave Kid a merciless kick to the side, sending her flying. She landed on a pile of rubble, her body rolling until she hit a large stone pillar. And there she lay, lifelessly still. Kid? Kid! I screamed her name as I charged toward Lynx, but Magil was already there. He flew through the darkness, a part of the shadows, before crashing down on Lynx like a bolt from the blue. Lynx jumped back, countless threads of light flew from his fingertips towards Magil. With a droning hum, the threads of light surrounded Magil, crossing over one another. They spread to form a lattice of light that gave off a blinding glare, and trapped Magil where he stood. What is this? Magil staggered and groaned, attempting to shield his eyes with his hands. It was a simple enough spell, my shadowy friend, for those inclined to learn it, and one which, sadly for you, leaves no darkness in which to hide. Lynx leered at Magil with a venomous grin. You've been quite the thorn in my side. I'll let you live long enough to regret it. Magil struggled and groaned. I had to do something. Kid and Magil needed me. What was I gonna do? Challenge Lynx ran. Okay, so Lynx, Magil, or Kid? Who should we go for? I say we go for Kid. Kid! I ran over to where she lay. She was flat out, collapsed where she had fallen, and blood still ran from her mouth. Kid! Kid, say something! I crouched down next to her, glancing at her face in a panic. She groaned, and then when she began to stir, her face twisted with pain. Surge! It's okay, Kid. I'm here. Not touching, although I'd be more concerned about my own well-being if I were you. Oh no, that's him! The voice came from behind me. It was as if ice water had been poured down my cheek. I jumped to my feet and turned around. Lynx was looking down on me with a cold, emotionless stare. Any friend of Kid's is certainly no friend of mine. Forgive me, but I cannot permit you to leave this place alive. Before I realized it, his hand had shot down toward me. His claw-like fingers clamped around my throat. I couldn't breathe. Tightening his grip, Lynx lifted me bodily. Yeah, it's okay, until my feet were dangling in the air. I could feel his talons mercilessly digging deeper and deeper into my neck. Panic filled my mind. Look, Kid. See your friend. See him suffer. This is your doing. This is your hand around his neck. Kid's breathing was ragged, and blood still dripped from her lips. Opening an eye, she groggily raised her head. But she couldn't get up. She didn't have that strength. Surge. Give me the time egg. Do you even know what it is? I suspect not. Think of it as a concentrated pocket of space. With the frozen flame and the time egg in hand, one can bend the fabric of space and time and rewrite the past. There are errors that I mean to correct. Mistakes in the past that must be set right. Lynx's narrow, emotionless eyes returned to my face. How long before he perishes, I wonder? I struggled to breathe, but could only make choking sounds. Kid screamed my name. I couldn't speak. All I could do was make strange, strangled noise with my throat. And then, I heard the crunching sound of my neck finally snapping. Yo, did we get a game over? And that was how I died. Oh, shoot. Dang. Well, presented by the Radical Dreamers, 1996. Okay, let's try again. I'm going to get back to where we were, and let's do this. I also will bring up the the guide here so that I run into only the encounters that are needed, so we'll have more HP when we get there. Okay, since we're back here, I can ask now, what is the Frozen Flame? Is the Frozen Flame really just a jewel? There's only silence in return, and then when it seemed like no one would reply at all, Magil spoke. His low voice echoed in the corridor. It is a sacred stone that cures all ills, heals all wounds, and grants eternal life. Or so some believe, backwards quotation mark. In truth, it is part of a tremendous rock that fell from the skies long, long ago. Oh, there we go. That rock was the source of a hitherto unknown power with which mankind's hidden potential was unlocked. You could say it was humanity's dreams made manifest. But it is not always good to have one's dreams come true, so it was part of Lavos. Many were bewitched by that power. Some were led astray by it. It even led to a kingdom's ruin. A kingdom once prosperous, yet now little more than fragments and dust. Its name lost to history. For a moment, I thought I heard a hint of pain and sadness in Magil's voice, but maybe it was just my nerves. Wait, how do you know all this, Magil? He said nothing. He only stared at me with piercing dark eyes, then continued on in silence. For a while, only the sounds of footsteps echoed in the corridor, and then Kid gave a doubtful humph. Look, I don't know if all that stuff about the Frozen Flame is I'm back to being frickin' Southern. It's neither here nor there to me. She raised a fist. We're here to settle the score with Lynx by nicking that thing. That's all I know, and that's all I want to know. What had Lynx seen in the Frozen Flame? Why had it been why had it been worth risking so much for? We trudged on down the dark passageway, each of us alone with our thoughts. Concentrating on my footsteps lessened the burden of my worries somewhat, and I felt a renewed vigor to a degree. I have been mashing, trying to get us to save. I did save a bit closer in case it didn't go, and I'm not in critical health, so let's skip ahead through this. All right, we are back. We have made our way back to Lynx, ready to go. This time, let's be a bit better. So from what I'm reading, the conclusion here is entirely based on your stats, which are your health, as well as your relationship with Kid. None of the choices actually matter. It's either you win or lose, period. So that means if we don't win, I'm going to have to go through and do a perfect walkthrough to make it so that I do win, which is kind of bad. But at the same time, I think we're good because when I did a battle with a griffin on the way here, and I didn't have any, oh, I'm hurting or anything text at all, right? So let's do this. Also, you can't save as soon as you step into the main hall there, so I'll have to go quite... Well, I guess I could reload my one save, but then I got hurt quite a bit, so that's probably not going to happen. We have already read all this, so we're just going to get on through here, and then... with this time, you know what? I think I'm going to go, though. So here's the thing. I have the choice of either helping Kid or helping Magil or going all in. I think she'd prefer if I was like going in myself, because that would make it feel like she'd be like, oh, you're doing it, you're doing the thing that I want you to do. I don't want you to be caring about me. I want you to be doing stuff for you, right? I want you to be the good thief that I always want you to be, right? So that's why I think I'm gonna jump in myself. All right, quite the thorn in the side, live long to regret it. Had to do something. Okay, so this, yeah, no, we're going in. We're gonna challenge Lynx. I charged at Lynx. I screamed as I rushed towards Kid's nemesis, and then in one fluid motion he spun around and faced me, lashing out with a saber. I tried my best to dodge the blow, but the blade sliced into my body. I collapsed in a heap and rolled down onto the rubble. You aren't the first arrogant little street rat I've cut down, and you won't be my last. His claw-like fingers clamped around my throat. Oh, he grabs you by the throat regardless. I couldn't breathe. Tightening his grip, Lynx lifted me bodily until my feet were dangling in the air. I could feel his talons mercilessly digging deeper and deeper into my neck. Panic filled my mind. Look, oh no, it's happening again. If this happens, then I'm screwed. She couldn't get up. She didn't have the strength. Does that mean that she doesn't like us enough? Oh no. Oh no. Decide, will you watch the boy die or relent? Does this life mean nothing to you? I can't. She balled her hands into fists and dropped her gaze. My vision started to fade. And then I heard her voice as she struggled to speak through the pain. I'm sorry, Serge, but I swore I'd sacrifice everything to stop Lynx. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. It was all I could do to force the words out past Lynx's icy grip. Because there's not gonna, the timing would not be a good one. Starting to black out. Was this how it was really gonna end? Oh, did we die? Ah, for crying out loud! Fine, you in here. Have your damn rock. Lynx's grip on my throat loosened. Oh, wow, okay. Good. Groaning with pain, Kid reached a shaky hand into her shirt. I knew you would come around in the end. Lynx threw my body to the ground, then walked over toward her. Just shut up and take it, you bastard. It's all you deserve. With all the strength she could muster, Kid lashed out with Lynx with her right hand. Gah! He leapt back in a desperate attempt to evade the blow. But it was too late. Kid's nails, sharp as cat's claws, raked mercilessly into his face. Lynx roared with pain. He staggered, clutching his left eye. Blood oozed through the gap in his fingers. You wretched little chit of a girl! Lynx stood awkwardly, still clutching at his wound on his face. Does Lynx have... Does Lynx have a scar in Chrono Trigger, actually? Chrono Cross, rather? Does he? I don't remember. No, he doesn't. I was like, he might have that as part of his character design. Lynx stood awkwardly, still clutching the wound on his face. The fingers of his free hand arched into furious talons as he walked back toward Kid, who was still lying on the ground. I will kill you all. He kicked her hard, concentrating all his wrath and venom into the blow. Kid gasped as all the wind was knocked out of her. Yet more blood ran from her mouth as her body rolled across the floor. Kid, I yelled hoarsely, clutching my burning throat with one hand. If only I had some tea I could drink. Lynx turned his head slowly to look at me, one eye fixing on me coldly as it came into view. He took a step toward me. Yes, perhaps it would be better to start with you, my dear Kid. Rest assured that your friend's death will be a most elaborate and painful one. You will truly know what it means to suffer, boy. I will put you through the same suffering as I did that Luca woman. Kid's body stirred with shock and horror. Her eyes slowly opened, fixing on Lynx. They were wild eyes, stained with the blood that poured from her brow. Gritting her teeth, she staggered to her feet. Lynx. Lynx! And then an explosion of light burst forth from the frozen flame. Another light began to form from somewhere near Kid's chest, resonating with the light from the frozen flame. The twin lights entwined, twirling slowly upward. As it rose, the golden spiral spread. No, this can't be. Lynx stood motionless, transfixed by the spectacle. Was this the Tiopmaniac's power? Kid screamed as a raging blaze of light engulfed her. I'll never let you do it again. I'll never let you steal from me again. Bathed in the glow, her body shook. Blood-red tears dripped from her eyes as they took on a distant look, and then she collapsed on the ground as if all life had gone out of her. I heard a voice. It was quiet and still like the evening. It has come to pass. Kid is retracing her lost memories back through time, back to the Lost Kingdom. It was through her power that the kingdom fell, that it was swallowed in the all-encompassing vortex of time. Oh, is this actually saying who she is? Oh, interesting. In her grief, she wished to disappear. Her past, her future. She wanted it all to sink into the void, to be lost in the seething whirl of time. She despised what she had done. She closed herself off from all she saw and heard and cursed her very existence. But the stone wished for her to live. The hands of her clock were rewound, her memories unraveled. The stone gave her a chance to begin again. So, yeah, if you're not getting this, Kid is, Shala. Sorry. She's Shala. And yeah, okay. I'm surprised that this game actually goes into that. I thought it would keep it to be a bit of a mystery. So a lot of people are like, when Chrono Trigger came out, they're like, oh man, what's gonna happen with, like, you know, why can't we save Shala? I mean, even Chrono Trigger DS, you really can't, because this is the DLC story of saving Shala. Isn't that crazy? Like, this visual novel was a DLC, essentially, is you had to download it. It came from the satellites in the Satellaview. That's cool. The stone gave her a chance to begin again. That's why she became baby. The stone had both the power and the will to bring this all about. Sinking through the sea of time, she drifted here, a mere babe, her memories a blank slate. The time age shattered, its fragments raining down on the world, becoming shards of sorrow and anguish. The world around us drifted into pieces. It swallowed us, engulfed us. We were consumed, locked into the void. And then, a girl's scream echoed in the darkness. That voice, was that Kid? Now, you might be like, why is she blonde? Do people that they think that they just dyed their hair blue in Chrono Trigger, which is hilarious. No, this is all wrong. The black vortex, it surrounds us. No, stop. Whoa. That's a T-Rex. Where am I? I have lost everything, and now I can but wander. The world drifts, and time is a blur. There is only an endless, unknowable sea. This is where time begins and ends. This is where all life finds peace. Huh? I see myself as a baby crying next to my mother, an exhausted yet proud look on her face. I see myself aged and wizened, waiting to succumb to death's embrace with a smile. I see countless incarnations of myself walking time's intricate corridors as ghosts. This is a place where countless worlds overlap and infinite dreams play out. Okay. I always was confused at why Chrono Trigger and then Chrono Cross went from the idea of, like, time to dream, but this makes a lot of sense. If only I could rest here for eternity. If only I could free myself from all my burdens and sleep here in this sea of dreams. But I hear it calling me. I hear the song. Kid! Kid, please! Can you hear me? Kid! Kid, say something. Kid, you've got to stay with me. Who's that? Who's calling me? Surge? Where am I? Oh, by the way, the accent was not real. I don't know where she got it. I wonder if it'll be explained where she gets the accent from. Oh god, my bad voice acting is canon. Kid, you're awake. So I guess the thing is though, like, the accent is a thing learned, right? So like if I was reset to a baby and you dropped me off in another country, I would get that country's accent. That's how it works. I heard a song. It was beautiful. It was that song that Luca loved. Kid closed her eyes and her face glowed with a warm smile. Also, can I just say, it's just dawning on me that Luca found a child and was like, oh, okay, we gotta protect this kid. Let's call it, Kid. I'll never forget that song. Makes me want to cry whenever I hear it. I'm just glad you're back. It felt like I was losing you, like you were going somewhere far, far away. Before I knew it, I was humming the song for you. I don't know if I've ever mentioned it, but I wrote it when I first started out as a musician. Oh! I knew you liked it, so wow, that comes back. Kid gave a gentle nod. It was you. You were the one who called me back. that was you calling my name. Thanks, Serge. It's okay. It's okay now. I'm back. Suddenly she gasped with pain. Lynx's saber had plunged deep into her right shoulder. And towering over us was Lynx himself. Uh-oh.
I told you, kid. I told you I would kill you.
She had no strength left to fight. What was I gonna do? I'm gonna try to protect Kid. I threw myself over Kid's inert form. The kid is inert. I had to protect her.
Ha! You rushed needlessly to your grave, boy.
Lynx glared coldly at me with his remaining eye.
Alas, your time has come.
He raised his saber high, preparing to strike.
Enough.
Stunned, we looked toward the intruder.
You.
Who? Oh, there stood an old crone, her wizened features obscured by a heavy hood. How had she made it all the way down here?
Lady Vera, and what have we done to bring poor Magister General running, I wonder, he growled.
Lady Vera. What does she look like in Chrono Cross? Oh, she doesn't appear. Okay. Alright.
It's been far too long, Lord Lynx. A pity that I would seem not to have caught you at your best.
The crone met Lynx's mad stare head on.
I will take the frozen flame. After all, it seems you two have been quite unable to decide which of you should have it.
She raised her hand and armed soldiers poured into the room. Poured! Ha, that's funny. Magil lifted Kid to her feet.
This seems like a good time to leave.
Lynx snarled.
You'll regret this, witch!
He kicked off from the floor and his body rose into the air. Then he turned his venomous glare on us.
And you, kid. You'll pay for this with your life soon enough. You'll never be safe from me.
With that, he disappeared like a puff of smoke. The crone lingered for a moment, her eyes resting on us. Oh. Oh!
Kid, if you wish to try and steal the frozen flame again, you are welcome to try anytime you please. We'll be waiting. But you'll have to get out of here alive first.
The soldiers drew their weapons and fell upon us.
Darkness, heed my call.
With Kid slumped against him, Magil spread his arms and drew a sigil in the air. Barry, surge this way! I grabbed onto him and we plunged into blackness. Did he just cast a leave spell? Spell of leavening? Well, we didn't necessarily get what we wanted. Thanks to Magil's magic, we managed to escape the manor alive. But the lights of the torches dotted the forest, and we could hear soldiers calling to one another. We stopped briefly in the darkness of the woods, and Kid leaned heavily on a tree, desperately trying to quiet her ragged breathing. It was a terrible wound she'd suffered, and it seemed to be taking its toll. You okay, Kid?
Yeah, don't worry about me, mate.
We're surrounded. It won't be long before they find us, said Magil, his eyes cautiously scanning the area. Kid raised her head to look at me.
It's me and Magil they won't get out of here, Serge. It's us they want, not you.
What are you saying? I'm not leaving you here. Look at you. You can barely stand.
It's nothing I can't handle. Besides,
I've got Magil with me.
If they catch you with us, they won't go easy on you. But I remembered everything. I remembered another me. A me from a long, long time ago.
Slowly, Kid averted her gaze, looking up at the night sky.
I have to go.
The stars reflected in her eyes, and suddenly she looked like nothing more than an ordinary young girl with a sad, distant expression on her face. Kid.
Don't worry, Serge, I'm okay. We'll meet again.
Kid smiled.
We'll meet again. Somewhere, someday, sometime. Promise.
Her eyes closed gently.
I did manage to nick the frozen flame in the end. And I lost the time egg too. The only thing I'd left of Lucas, but it's okay. Everything's gonna be okay. There's something inside me that shines brighter than any stupid jewel. The most important thing in the world.
She opened her eyes again and fixed them on me. I could have lost myself in their depths forever.
No one can take it from me. Not for as long as I live.
There's nothing else in the world I wanted but this. I doubted I'd ever want anything again. I only wanted this moment. All the clocks in the world could have stopped right then and there for all I cared. And that was exactly what I wished for as I gazed at her.
Goodbye, Serge. And thanks.
She looked down and then turned away and disappeared into the darkness of the night. Would I ever see her again?
Kid! Don't follow me, Serge. Please, just don't. I strained to try and catch a glimpse of her as the last trace of her shadow vanished. Vanished toward a place I might never reach again. No, Kid! I leapt to my feet, meaning to chase after her, but a shadow soon blocked my path. Magil! Without saying a word, he slowly shook his head. Behind the mask, I saw sadness in his eyes. Then the shadow withdrew and melted into the darkness. Magil? Kid? Wait, don't leave me. I screamed into the night, but there was no reply. The black silence swallowed my cries. Kid. Was that?
What ending did we get? I feel like we got a bad ending. I feel like we got a really bad ending.
That's, like, I mean, good but bad, and so ends another tale. Perhaps one day I'll see Kid, Magil, and Riddell again. One day. Somewhere, at another time, in another world. Perhaps none of us will even realize it. But that's a story for another day. For now, I must put down my pen. Interesting. I closed my grandfather's diary. Oh, right. And then from downstairs, I heard my mother calling. Did you hear me? Your friend's here. Nimble footsteps charged up the stairs. The door flew open. In tumbled a young girl. A girl who seemed somehow familiar. Hey, Serge, it's a beautiful day for adventuring. I found an old rundown manor off in the woods to the north. You want to go exploring? Come on, put the book down. Let's get out of there. Get out there, rather. Okay. Huh. Was she reborn again? Is that what we're getting at? But no, but it's also Serge. What? Huh? What? I'm a bit confused. Time loops? What? Or something? I don't know. Huh. Whoa, it's in Japanese. They didn't translate this. Okay. Interesting. I enjoyed this. I mean, remember, it's a Satellaview game, so it wasn't like a full game, like it was like something you downloaded. It's cool, though. My only thing is, how do I get the other endings? I'm gonna look up Radical Dreamers endings, because we got a couple of them. Now that said, apparently, and I learned this, and I thought this is super cool. There is a really interesting thing where if you beat the I don't know if I talked about this, but if you beat Chrono Cross, then come back, there's a new secret ending. So, okay. I'm seeing some interesting ones here. Alright, so next time, I'm going to go through some of these other endings here, because they seem really interesting. I'm shocked I got what seems to be the main ending. Unless this is the bad ending. You can strengthen your relationship by picking dialogue choices. To check your relationship, go outside and talk to Kid. Oh, that's what that does. Shoot, okay. Did we get the bad ending then? Okay. Huh. Oh! So we got the first ending. Provided you have a good relationship with the Kid, any decision will lead to the same outcome. Okay. So I guess we had a good relationship. Maybe. But so you need to get New Game Plus to get them. Interesting. After getting the first ending, you can... Oh. So basically... there's different endings. Some of them you need to fall asleep to get. Some of them you need to do something else. Interesting. Okay. Okay, that's really interesting. So yeah, next time we will be going through some of these bonus endings because I want to see them. I want to see them so much. We will be able to get all but the last one because the last one again requires you to get beat Chrono Cross. So we'll do that in the future, of course. I wonder if this was this the good ending? I think this was the good ending. It feels like the good ending. Then if it says that no matter what you do, you'll get the same sort of ending, so. Okay. Yeah. Kid, the Tresor Interdit. We should translate that now. What is that? The Tresor Interdit translation. What is that? Oh, the Forbidden Treasure. Okay, that makes sense. So we got one of the 7 endings, which I'm interested to check out the others with, right? Next time will be much more cut up and rearranged. It won't be the same. But yeah. So if we go, so does that mean, oh, continues up there. Yeah, cool. It's not new, it's continue. Sounds good. So in that case, we will, there's a button combo to leave this, I remember. Did I press it? Nope. That's fine. All right, guys, next time we'll be back to get those bonus endings. That was the main story of Radical Dreamers, but we will be back to check out those bonus endings next time. We'll see you then. Ciao.